That night, Thorn had another fame dream. In her current groggy state, she couldn't quite remember what it was about, but she certainly remembered the sounds of the fans screaming her name. Reality was almost an inconvenience, as Thorn reorientated herself to life of what it was actually like. She would have much preferred just to live in the dream than embracing the utopian life that she deserved. She knew that wasn't possible, though. So she tried to think about how she was going to get introduced to a record producer today. Thorn gazed sleepily at the wall as she tried to wake herself up, her dreamy state quickly dissipating as she reorientated herself into the drab salmon walls surrounding the bedroom. It always had been hard for a goth to get up in the morning, as she needed some cereal and some coffee before she felt like fully functioning human being. Thorn caught a glance of the Wiccan book that she never got around to reading on her desk. Was it sloppily digging through her t-shirt drawer to throw something to wear? The plain black t-shirt she ended up choosing reminded her of that t-shirt of the band that she, Dusk, and Luna always talked about making, but it never seemed to get around to. "Morning," Thorn groggily muttered as she saw her two best friends already sitting on the couch eating their morning bowls of cereal. "Good morning," Luna responded. "Dusk and I were wondering if you wanted to have another writing session this afternoon." In all honesty, writing was the last thing on Thorn's mind. She still was too excited about her dream and excitedly new possibility of becoming a famous through the connection with a record producer. I hadn't really thought about it," she finally answered. "I was gonna go to the arcade again this morning, but we can do it after that." "Perfect! That should be just enough time before we go meet the producer guy at 4, Luna stated. "Just don't stay at the arcade too long," Dusk warned. "I won't," Thorn said, slightly defensively. "You really think I'd make us miss out on something like this?" Dusk and Luna gave each other off looks, demonstrating that they were both really thinking the same thing. Thorn had no idea what that would be, though. "Well, we all know you can get lost in your thoughts when you are there and lose track of time," Luna politely phrased. "Yeah, it's like you go there and fall into a time warp or some shit," Dusk stated more bluntly. "I promise you I won't lose track of time. I'll be back no later than noon," Thorn said as she poured her bowl of cereal. "This just gives me 3 hours to write before we have to get ready to go." "Well, that would work," Dusk said, still feeling a little cautious, though Thorn didn't see why. Sure, Thorn was aware that she could get a tad distracted when she was at the arcade. The arcade was a safe place where black-haired goths would just turn off their brain and think about life, having to worry about the other things distracting her. In a way, it did feel like she was in a time warp, as Dusk crudely put it, because going there made Thorn feel like she could just sit still for a moment, while she stopped and processed everything. "Sorry if I sounded pushy," Luna apologized. "I'm just really eager to get these last 2 songs done. Once we're finished, maybe we could finally get the first album released." "No, you're fine," Thorn said, sitting down and slowly sipping her morning cup of coffee. The girls sat there for a moment, said each doing their own thing. Luna read a book, as she was currently entitled into The Mystery of the Haunted Island, and Thorn paged through her diary, rereading some of the song lyrics that she had written and never used, pondering herself on the potential usefulness for the 2 songs that they still had to write. Dusk, on the other hand, simply just stared off into space, looking somewhat impatient. "Is something wrong, Dusk?" Thorn asked politely. "I thought you were going to go to the arcade," Dusk stated, a little on edge. I'm just sitting down and rereading some old lyrics over coffee, that's all." Thorn shrugged, unsure of what Dusk's point was. "If you take much longer to get to the arcade, I know exactly what's going to happen. You'll get lost in your head and lose track of time. Then we'll miss out on writing session altogether," Dusk presumed. This shouldn't be stressful, Dusk, Luna interjected. We should be excited about a music producer who wants to look over our work. Yeah, I guess you're right. Dusk calmed down. Sorry, I just felt like we should make sure everything's perfect if we ever go and get a chance to have impress in some bigwig music exes. It's fine. I'll get going now, and just have my coffee to go. Thorn shrugged. She felt bad for getting Dusk unintentionally worked up so much, but at the time, she felt that she deserved some downtime too. She didn't always have to center on or cater on what others wanted her to do. Okay, thanks, Dusk smiled a bit awkwardly. It was clear that she felt bad about snapping at Thorn, but she did have a tendency to get overworked up on some things. Thorn always assumed it was because her family never really discussed the idea of her mental health much. If you were struggling, that was your problem, and not someone else, or anyone else, should have to go cuddle for you, according to Dusk's parents. See you guys at noon, not a minute later, Thorn playfully joked, as she grabbed her car keys and purse before heading out of the door. The arcade was bustling down with people young and old. The other options there were different games you could play at the arcade. It all seemed endless. Thorn didn't take much more notice of any of her surroundings. However, she already zoned in her favorite Wizard of Oz game, as she's been thinking about the day ahead. When she met the Bridget's dad, and what she would say. If he asked them to perform one of their songs, which one would they do? Perhaps they could sing Hex Girl, which could bring them some name recognition. Or maybe it was better to perform Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, which seemed to be the audience's favorite at the Autumn Festival. The girls were all proud of their songs, so it was tough to pick which one to be the more representative of their artistry. Every song they made was important to them in some way, paradising one piece over the other. It seemed like being the one to choose between food or water. While Thorn thought of this all, she also focused on attempting to get Dorothy to the wonderful Wizard of Oz castle, without avoiding the Wicked Witch of the West and her flying monkeys, which was the ultimate objective of the game. As the game went on, the levels progressively became harder as more and more obstacles were placed in your way. She loved how simplistic the game was, though it was allowed her to shut off her mind and just process whatever was going through in her head. However, she did seem to be having an extraordinary hard time getting past the level, as for some strange reason. Excuse me? A smoothing feminine voice said from behind the playing game Goth. The voice caused Thorn to jump a little, so she was lost in her mind that she completely blocked out everything around her. The girl was quite short and had pink hair, and it was wearing the t-shirt that said Salem, embroidered across the chest. Oh, hi, Thorn said, a bit startled. Hey, I'm Renna, the pink-haired girl stated. I'm Thorn introduced herself. We're actually going to be servicing this machine this afternoon, given some complaints we've seen about the levels, one of them malfunctioning. Do you think you'll be done playing it soon? Renna inquired. Oh, I was just wondering. I just couldn't get past level 13, Thorn exclaimed, as she looked at the time much longer she should be staying. Somehow it was already 11:36. Oh yeah, I actually needed to get going. Thanks for fixing this machine. It's my favorite game here. Mine too, Renna exclaimed. Have a great day. You too, Thorn smiled. On hindsight, as Thorn hated being interrupted, she almost glad Renna had to say something in her mind, as she would have been like otherwise, just as Dusk would have had feared. As it was just a 15-minute drive home, Thorn looked up at the soccer mom minivan in order to take it back to the apartment for the writer's session. The drive was thankfully uneventful, as Thorn was quite worried about a certain event would occurred. Getting pulled over, given that she was going 8 miles over the speed limit to ensure that she make it back to her apartment on time. Thorn realized that her park job was a tad crooked from when she raced her typical parking spot, but she knew she didn't have time to fix it at the moment. The black-haired Goth nearly forgot her purse in the car while scrambling up the stairs. There were some days where she wished her purse was more organized, And today, she was shapping up one of those days. She couldn't say for the life of it find the set of keys upon reaching the top of the stairs. After a bit digging through various items, some useful items that some she had thrown away years ago, she retrieved her keys, which had somehow nestled so themselves next to a pack of wintergreen gum. Painted with exhaustion from the physical workout and climbing up the stairs, coupled the emotional workout for worrying herself silly that she'd be late. Foreign had entered the apartment. The obnoxious eco-goth's spot was to look for the clock on the wall. 11:58 a.m. She made it. Wow, that was first, Dusk teased. You're almost always running on foreign time. Shut up, Foreign playfully replied back, even though Dusk's statement was objectively true. So let's get started on this writing session. Luna disrupted the two friends' playful banter. We are just picking up where we left off with that song yesterday, Foreign inquired. Yeah, I don't know what else to start. I've got 2 songs left to finish the album, and some of them, and this is one of them. Dusk gave her logic. Speaking of that, I was thinking we could make some change to the rhythm of Trap of Love, Luna recommended. I think the melody after the past post-choruses needs a little bit more grungy. Oh, for God's sake, Dusk harumphed. If we just go around changing everything on the album, we're never gonna get it out. We want it to be as perfect as it can be, though. No reason to rush if we think a part of it is not ready, Luna pointed out. That's the problem. Though it's never going to be perfect. One of us is going to have to find some way that it could be changed or made slightly better, Dusk sighed. At some point, we'll just have to say, good enough, put it out in the world. We've been working on this album for 2 years now, and we can't spend our little entire careers working on the album. This is our debut album, though, so it needs extra special if we want to resonate with the people enough to put it out on the world, Luna argued. If that means take another 2 years then to put it out, so be it. Well, there's a line between making something special and nitpicking over a damn aspect, Dusk shot back. If I may jump into this argument, I have an idea that might resonate with you both, Foreign impatiently stated. It was common for their writing sessions that involved into arguments about how to handle the album's release lately, which the black-haired goth found unfortunate. Oh, and what's that? Scrap the whole album and start over? Dusk growled. Geez, calm down, Dusk, Luna said, her eyes. What songs on the album we have not changed at all? Foreign asked. We haven't really touched Hex Girl, Hootie Voodoo, Petrified Bride, The Witch's Ghost, and Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, Luna pointed out. Or Trap of Love. Well, until you suggested it just now. Dusk gave Luna a cross look, to which she blushed. Exactly. All of our changes to the other 6 songs on the album, Foreign observed. We know that we sound like the first 6 songs, so why not we try making the rest of the songs more like those? That's a good idea. I guess the other 6 songs have sounded a bit different than the original ones, Luna realized. You know, you do have a point, Dusk agreed. We've been wrapped up on making music. We thought of resonate with the people that we forgot to stay true to our classic sound. Wait, so we're scrapping the 4 of the songs then? Luna asked for clarification. I think we need to, Foreign said. We can't lose sight of our own artistic voices just to please other people. We have to make music at least as unharmlessly to us. That's the only way going to get this album done. You're right, Dusk agreed, much to the other girl's surprise. Let's scrap the other 4 songs and make the band more badass. We're gonna love so much that we won't need changes. Guess we better get started on writing then, Foreign smiled in response. The crows wing then falls as to my voice calls, Foreign sang out loud. What do you think of that line? I really like it, Luna nodded. Yeah, it's badass, Dusk agreed. A quick look at the clock showed Foreign that it was already 3:30. I think we better stop it right here for today, Foreign pointed at the clock. It's a second-hand clock continuing the second away from the girl's precious remaining half hour of every time it moved. Me too, Luna breathed in a sigh of relief. Both of their relieved comments made Forn feel nervous, because she hadn't got ready at all for the day yet. I need a few minutes to fix my makeup, Forn blurted, before raiding to the bathroom. Oh no, Dusk facepalmed. We're gonna be here forever. Forn did her best to get quickly as she could, put some foundation and eyeliner, doing a quick brushing of her hair at the same time. A very courtesy to check herself in the mirror to make sure she looked good, or at least good enough, for the record producer meeting. Forn then raced out into the living room, in hindsight, as the perky Goth wished that she thought of a better time she would fit everything in before she had a few minutes remaining until they had to leave. Regardless, there was nothing she could really do about it now. I'm ready, finally, Forn said, aiding and adding the last word because she felt bad for delaying her two friends. Let's get our instruments and go then, Dusk instructed. We don't have a moment to waste. Thankfully, Forn was able to sit in the front seat of the soccer mom van, albeit as she wasn't the one driving. That was Forn's favorite spot in the sit in the vehicle, as she didn't have the responsibility of driving, but she also didn't have to be crammed against the wall with all of her instruments. Unfortunately for Dusk, she was the one who got stuck with the crap seating arrangement this time, while Luna drove. Forn's head was spinning with all sorts of thoughts, on the way to meet Bridget's father. Up to this point, the girls were essentially made-free teens who made the music in their apartment, and sometimes the music they performed for others, they had really had to worry about the ins and outs of the music industry, or professional equity. As the artist is before, they would have say, what would they have say? Could they have financial a record out of the deal of this? What song would they even play? Wait a moment. The thought had just popped in her busy mind to make her realize the girl hadn't said yet to pick a song of what they were going to play. I just had a thought. We never picked the song we were going to perform for this guy, Forn gasped. Shit, Dusk swore. So we've got caught up in our writing and our new song that we completely forgot about the obvious important thing. It's fine, Luna reassured the anxious Dusk. I think the most logical song is Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. It shows our love for the environment and represents that we stand as our eco goth band. I don't agree. Hex Girl is far more better representative to who we are as a band. It's our style of our music perfect down a tree, Forn argued. Plus, it's the first song we ever wrote, and it was ever since our band name. Dusk, you're the tiebreaker here. What should we play? Luna asked as she made a right turn. Oh, I don't frickin' know, Dusk muttered before it quickly came up with the answer. It all seemed the anger automatic response to the stress. I've got to go with Hex Girl. Forn's right, though it's our first song, and it represents the band who we are. Damn, Luna playfully cussed. We're almost there, guys. Forn could see the name of the studio just up ahead. It was beautiful, although there were no flashing neon lights or bright color lights around the studio. Just simply the possibilities at the studio that represent for three of them. It made it more breathtaking than picture the scene that they have ever been. I guess we'll just park on the street here? It says permit required on that lot, and Bridget didn't give us a permit, Luna mentioned. Just as the last staple left Luna's lips, a loud bang could be heard. What the hell was that? Dusk looked up both frightened and irked at the same time. Forn never had the possibility of combining the two emotions before, but nonetheless, Dusk portrayed it as well. Luna let the vehicle come to a full stop as she limped to the side of the road to check out what's wrong. Upon popping the hood and looking inside, she quickly returned with a somber look on her face. Well, I guess I answered my own question. We're definitely parked on the street, Luna sighed. Why's that? Forn inquired. The radiator overheated. I guess I can't say I'm surprised, but it sucks that it finally happened, Luna stated in a disappointed tone. Ah, crap. How the hell are we gonna pay for this? Dusk snapped. No time to worry about that now. We gotta get to the studio before we're late. Thorn hurried. Look on the bright side, Dusk. At least we made it to the studio before it broke down, Luna reminded. Yeah, I guess you're right, Dusk solemnly nodded. Hey, girls! The Hex girls heard a familiar voice from nearby. As soon as they saw the pink hair, they recognized it was Bridget. So how are you free? Are you excited? We all are. We would have been, Thorn hinted. Would have been, Bridget repeated. Is everything okay? Our radiator broke down, Dusk pointed out to the soccer mom van, which was currently had a little smoke coming from the hood. Oh dear, Bridget exclaimed, seemingly genuinely concerned. Is there anything I can do? Not unless you can give us a ride home. I think we're gonna have to be towed, Thorn answered. Oh, for sure, I can give you a ride home, Bridget offered. That's so kind of you, Thorn smiled. That would be amazing. It'd be a pain in the ass to have to take a taxi home. There's hardly any around here, unless you have to pay extra to have one be called over from Salem, Dusk informed. No problem. I hope you're able to have it fixed by Friday for your next performance, Bridget mentioned. Oh wow, you must have followed our schedule pretty closely, Thorn laughed. Even for a moment I forgot we had a performance on Friday day at the coffee shop. I mean, Nia, Sam, and I are your biggest fans. We've always wanted to make it to your shows if we can, Bridget chirped. That made Thorn wonder if the three of them had been to previous shows without them noticing. Thorn didn't really ever memorize anyone's faces that came to the shows, so it was a certainty a possibility. Anyway, my dad had sent me here to come get you guys once you showed up. He's actually waiting for you now, Bridget shared. Well, let's not keep him waiting then. Dusk's walking speed immediately increased, but as to not disappoint him. Upon entering the building, Thorn didn't see exactly what she expected. She wasn't really sure what she was expecting, but there was a lot more recording rooms and offices than she thought there would be. She always supposed to thought that this would be a very small studio, given everything was quite the modest in Oak Haven. But this was certainly a decent-sized establishment. Thorn glanced up at the walls and saw all sorts of music posters. She knew some of the posters were the famous musicians that certainly didn't have any affiliation to the studio, such as Bob Dylan, The Cure, John Bowie, although the names Thorn didn't recognize, including Zack Attack, Jonathan Parson, and Mackenzie Z. All right, this is my dad's office. Bridget extended her arm to knock on the door to the small office with the number 109 on it. Come in, the man's voice exclaimed. Dusk opened the doorknob to reveal what somewhat like an upscale-looking office. The black-haired Goth couldn't help but let out a smile when she saw the Banshee's poster hang on his wall. Thorn recognized some of the other posters as Goth's musician that she idolized. Robert Smith from The Cure, Peter Murphy from Bolas, and Andrew Elderrich from Joy Division. She hadn't noticed the man for a minute, and she already liked him. She appeared to be a similar man who was very bold in his dress choices. He was currently wearing a bright pink pants, purple jacket, and a green shirt. Rose-colored glasses sat down in his eyes. Hi, it's so nice to meet you, Thorn smiled, trying to seem as friendly and cheerful as possible. I'm Thorn. Hey, my name is Dusk. Dusk shook the man's hand. Hi, I'm Luna, Luna meekly stated. It was even clear the large, huge opportunity was in front of her. She couldn't get past her feelings of shyness. It's great to meet you girls, too. My name is Gus Boggs, and I'm the general manager here at the Decade Records. The man introduced himself with a strong British accent. He had somewhat of a higher-pitched voice for a male. My daughter Bridget told me about your band, and you sound fabulous. Given the fact that your instruments, it gave me a chance to hear you play. If you're really good, as my daughter says, maybe we can work out some sort of promotional deal. Thorn was super nervous, despite that she typically performed in front of at least 10 to 20 people at every show. Hundreds in the case of the Autumn Fest. Performing this was one person felt more nerve-wracking than all the people she had coming to concerts combined. If they ever wanted to have a chance to make it big, this had to be perfect. "We'd love to play a song for you, sir," Fawn politely answered, as she took her instrument out of her case and set it up. "Okay, I'm ready when you are," Gus smiled. "Okay." Fawn then took a smiling inhale, and then looked back at her other two members. Then they gave him a cautious nod. "We'll sing this song, Hex Girl. We're gonna put a spell on all of you." All the Hex Girls shouted in turn at the end of their song. "Wow," Gus said, still a bit absurd. His tone increasingly grew more excited as he continued to speak. "Wow! Wow, girls, you're amazing!" Fawn was so shocked at first, she didn't know what to say. She then had braced herself for the worst, so much so she temporarily forgot about how into the best was. Thank you, sir," Luna finally responded. "Are you girls haven't signed a record deal yet?" Gus checked. "Not as far as I know," Fawn awkwardly chuckled, not knowing where Gus was going with this train of thought. "Well, you have now," Gus said. "If you want, of course. I'd like to sign you girls up at Decade Records, as well as becoming your managers." "Wow, really?" Dusk asked. "I mean, of course." "Yes, really," Gus chuckled. "You girls have a unique style of music that I haven't heard in a long time. I think you could really stand out in alternative charts." "Charts?" Dusk jaw almost dropped. Sure, the girls had thought about being famous in their music for long before. The thought of them seemed too unattainable to them. That hearing them their music might have been popular, the charts seemed like a shock for a moment. It was one thing for people to be friendly to them and listen to their music at shows, but when it comes to so many people liking their music, became amongst the other popular music in the country. This was groundbreaking. "Yes, charts," Gus chuckled, turned to more hearty laugh. "I know that it may be hard to believe as a small town, currently unpopular band, but your music's really good. I think you girls are gonna love this. Now we have thought of an album and all?" "Yeah," all three of the girls exclaimed at once, with Dusk saying a variation of yes. "We've got 6 songs recorded and ready to go. In fact, we're just working on the 7th today," Fawn shared, almost bragging with excitement. "Stupendous!" Gus smiled. "It's so refreshing to hear you girls are serious about your music. Already been planning for the direction I'm going to lead you in. Now, I'm not saying that it has to be quick, but I think we could plan for an amazing release of strategy that will get you popular around the world." "The world?" Luna whispered in excitement. For as much as they dreamt about it before, they thought it was more possible than they had previously believed in shocking them. "Yes, the world," Gus chuckled. "It seems like you'll need to work on more than just the album. We've got to work on your self-esteem. You girls are really good, whatever you believe in or not." "Thank you, sir," Fawn smiled politely. She wished for her brain to think of something else to say besides that, but she was so stunned that she actually loved their music. She expected him to hate or moderately like it, but not certainly loved it. "Come with me, girls, if you're open to it. I'd like to sign you all with us today," Gus offered. "We'd love to do that," Dusk blurted. The girls followed Gus down a narrow, long hallway. There were posters of various musicians all down the hallway, just like where the girls came in. But Fawn was so in her head processing through the fact that it was quite real, she didn't even look to see the names.